Peelan, we've already gone through all at this point, I've already formed you, and we've already done all of the qualifying questions that we went over the last few weeks. So I'm basically just going to jump straight into my presentation. Now, before Dan Burke picks on me, I always intentionally like make it look like I can't get my presentation to pull up. I always say, oh, hang on, like I want them to see that they can do it too. Okay. But I do actually have it ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna so Peelan, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna share my screen and I'll walk you through a couple things about who we are and what we do. Is that okay with you?
That's okay with me.
All right, perfect. Let me know when you can see my screen, Peelan. Do you see that blue page?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So Peelan, we're actually with a company called Primerica. Have you ever heard of Primerica before?
I think so.
Okay, awesome. Tell me everything. What do you know about it? What have you heard?
Well, I haven't heard really good things, a
Okay.
couple of negative things, but nothing that I personally know about.
Okay, cool. So you just kind of maybe had a friend that did something or maybe something like that. That's really it then, basically.
Right, just hearsay.
Okay, perfect. Well, Peelan, is it okay with you if I walk you through who Primerica is as a company and what we do and how we operate? Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Perfect. So, Peelan, real quick question. If I were to say to you, like a good neighbor, what would you say?
State Farm is there.
State Farm is there. Okay, so Peelan, you've been brainwashed just like everybody else. Congratulations. And the reason I bring that up is because State Farm, Geico, Farm Bureau, all these big insurance companies that you know the name of, the logos, the slogans, the jingles, stuff like that, they're
Mhm.
spending literally billions of dollars a year just so you know who they are. So, Peelan, we're actually the largest independent financial services marketing organization in North America. Okay, the difference between us and those companies is there's a lot of differences actually, but the big one I want to talk about right now is we actually don't spend any money at all on marketing. So, Peelan, you will never and never have seen a Primerica commercial, billboard, social media ad, or anything like that. Okay. We do not spend any dollars on marketing advertisements. Okay. Now, we are listed on the stock market. Obviously, you're familiar with the New York Stock Exchange. We're a publicly traded company. Our ticker is PRI. We've been publicly traded now for about 15 years. We have about 2.7 million investment accounts and about 5.7 million lives insured through our companies with about $1 trillion of life insurance in force. Okay. So, Peelan,
Mhm.
if you take that into consideration, that's about 2% of the insurance industry. Okay. So we have a very small market share, which means there's a lot of opportunity for growth, obviously, right? And even
Okay.
with that, it's $1 trillion of life insurance. It's still a lot, right? So now, Peelan,
Mhm.
have you ever heard of Forbes magazine before?
Yes.
Perfect. So Forbes magazine actually has featured us as one of the best insurance companies in America the last 3 years. We're a top 25 place for women to work. We're a top 25 like diverse employee, meaning like people of different like genders, ages, stuff like that, right? We are all inclusive company. Anybody can work for us, right? Everybody gets a shot, which is what I love about the company because Peelan, I don't have a big education. I don't have any degrees or anything like that, and I was still given a shot at Primerica, and that's what I love about Primerica. Now we are the number one most trusted life insurance company according to Investors Business Daily. And we're the number three most trusted financial services company. And what I want you to understand about what that means, basically, Peelan, every credit card you have, every gift card, debit card, bank account, investment account, those are all financial services companies, right? And you probably have a lot of different ones when you look at all the different things. Well, Primerica is number three in all categories in that ranking, right? And we're number one when it comes to life insurance. So all that to say, Peelan, we're a massive multi-billion dollar investment and insurance company that you've never heard of, or what you have heard is just through hearsay or through the grapevine, right? And the reason for that, Peelan, is because you've never sat down with anybody like myself before. Does that make sense?
That does. Makes
Perfect.
sense. Yeah.
Perfect. So, Peelan, our mission is to help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. Okay, so really when I'm sitting down with somebody, there's really two different buckets that they might fall into when I'm meeting with them. Now, obviously, you're here for the one, which is to make some extra income, right? You saw
Right.
a post on Facebook and you want to make an extra $750 a month. So you're in that bucket. Now, the other bucket that people jump into when I meet with them for the first time is they don't know what's going on in their finances. So they need to get properly protected with different types of life insurance, home and auto insurance, identity theft protection, prepaid legal programs, security systems. Like we do all that stuff. We also help them get out of debt. That's a service that we do for free. I'll touch on that in just a second, but basically we just help people get out of debt way quicker. And then ultimately, Peelan, the goal is we help people retire and not have to worry about if they're going to run out of money. Okay,
Hmm.
so Peelan, do you know anybody that could benefit from making more income or making sure their money's in order so they could eventually retire one day? Do you think anybody you know could benefit from that?
Quite a few people.
Probably everybody, right? And so
Right.
that's why I love this business is because at the end of the day, everybody does need what we do. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to become a client, and certainly not everybody's going to work with us, and that's okay. But our mission is to help people earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. And Peelin, how we do this is we use a really cleverly named system. It's how money works, okay? And so we teach them these concepts about, you guessed it, how money works, right? So they can make better decisions about how to actually manage their money. And we do this, excuse me, we do this through providing something called a financial needs analysis. So Peelin, a super dumb question for you. If you were gonna hop in the car and drive all the way to Disney and I was going to give you tickets for you and all the family and I was going to pay for your gas and everything for you to get there. All you had to do is jump in the car and drive to the address I gave you. What are you going to do with that address in order to get to where I need you to get to?
Well, I definitely have to put it in my GPS because I am directionally challenged, or we're never going
Perfect.
to get there.
Perfect. So you would need a GPS, right? Now, why would you need a GPS to get there and not just aimlessly drive until you magically end up in Orlando, Florida?
Well, I don't want to get lost.
You don't want to
I
get
want to,
lost, right? You
right.
you you want to have a plan. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
So that financial needs analysis, PLN, is exactly that. Okay. Now, to be honest with you, up till this point, everything we've done is the exact same conversation I have with a client when we get here. Okay. Now, once I get here, I book the second call. And I literally, guys, I literally tell people that, by the way, stepping out for a second, PLN, to let everybody know. I literally tell people, like, this is where I would differentiate if this was a client appointment. But PLN, because this is not a client appointment, I do want to give you a little bit more information about what we do. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Perfect. So real quick, Peelan, we have three main things I wanted to touch on with you. The first thing is something that we actually don't charge our clients for at all. Okay, so Peelan, we do
All
something
right.
called debt stacking. Have you ever heard of debt stacking or debt snowballing before?
No, no,
Okay,
not
so
at all.
debt stacking and debt snowballing, basically, Dave Ramsey, I'm sure you've heard of him before. He teaches people how to get out of debt faster. And what we do basically is we take all the debts and credit cards and stuff like that, and we stack them all up. And then we pay off, the computer tells us which one to pay off first. And so we pay the minimums on everything, and we put all the extra that we can on this retail card. Okay. Peelan, once
Mhm.
this retail card is paid off, we then take that 220. And Peelan, what do you think most people do when they get an extra $220 a month?
Celebrate.
They light that
Go
crap
shopping.
straight on fire, right? They take a match right to it, right? And so what we try to teach people to do is take that $220 and just pay that on the next credit card. Okay. So if you're
Okay.
paying more money on the next debt, do you think you'd get that debt paid off sooner or later?
Oh, definitely sooner.
Definitely sooner, right? And then Peelan, we
Mhm.
just continue to rinse and repeat that process all the way until you're out of debt. Okay. And
Okay.
now, on average, what that does is when you're not debt stacking, it takes 23 years for this person right here to get out of debt. With us, it's going to save them 14 years. They're going to get out of debt in 9 years, not 23. Okay.
Wow.
And once we save them 14 years and $130,000 of interest, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you're already spending $2,700 a month. Why don't we take that money and begin to invest that into the market so you can start to own your retirement assets? You don't have to do it,
Mm,
but what do you think? And most people will say yes at that point, right? Because you've already helped them, you've
absolutely.
gotten them out of debt. Now you turn around and you help them invest, right? So when you do
Correct.
this, that's you're going to get paid on that number every single month. Now, I'll explain that later how you get paid on that. But every time they invest that $2,700, you're going to get paid. So Peelan, you do the work today, and then you get paid for that for the rest of the lifetime of that client, so long as they're investing with you, and then you get yearly residual income on that, Peeling. Does monthly residual income sound like a good thing for you?
Sounds amazing.
Perfect. That is one way that we help build that. Okay. Now, the
Okay.
next thing we do is we teach people about something called the rule of 72. Okay. You ever heard of the rule of 72 before, Peeling?
Uh, I don't think so.
Perfect. Most people haven't. I believe this is something that should be taught every single year in high school because it's so important that you understand this. Okay. Now, Peelan, I'm going to teach this to you very quickly with a really dumb story. Okay. So, Peelan, who is somebody that you know that is absolutely terrible with money? I won't call them, I promise. But who is somebody that you know they're always struggling? They're always got to figure it out. Who's somebody you know that is really struggling with money?
Oh, I could think of several people, but one of my sisters is pretty bad. She's pretty bad.
Okay. What's her name? You can give me a fake name if you want to, but what's
Her
her name?
name is Kim.
Kim. Okay, perfect. Not the Kim on this call, right? Different Kim. So,
All right.
just kidding. So, Peelan, you and Kim and myself, we're long lost cousins. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we are long lost cousins, and great grandma passed away, and she left 10 grand to all of us. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Peelan, you, Kim, and myself, we each get $10,000. Kim takes
Mhm,
her 10 grand and she goes and
mhm.
deposits it at her bank. And the
Okay.
bank teller calls his little friend over, and they take her into a special little room, and they talk her into putting her money into something called a CD or a high yield savings account or something like that, where she's going to get about 3% on her
Mm,
money. Okay.
okay.
So what the rule of 72 tells us is you take that number 72 and you divide that by the interest rate. So 72 divided by 3 is 24. So every 24 years, Kim's money doubles. Okay, so now
Mm.
Kim's 21 right now, right? So when she's 69, Kim's gonna have $40,000, Peelan. Do you think Kim is gonna be able to retire off of that $40,000?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all, right? So
Mm-mm.
check this out though, Peelan. I think that I'm smart, and I go and I work with one of these fancy financial advisors that runs all these commercials and has these big shiny fancy buildings, right? You know who I'm talking about. I won't name,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
so they tell me to put my money into something like an annuity or a money market account where I'm going to get like 5 or 6, maybe 7% on that money. Okay, now 72 divided by 6 is 12, right? So double the interest rate, double the money, right? Matt, that's what our brains tell us. Well, what that really does is it doubles how quickly your money doubles, right? So every 12 years, Peelan, my money's going to double. So after
Right.
24 years, I have doubled the money from Kim. But check this out. I doubled 2 more times. So by the end of the same time period, I have 4 times the money that Kim has. And all I did was put my money in a different place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect. Now, Peelin, you started working with Primerica right before you got this check, and you learned how to invest in the market, in the mutual funds. You learned
Mm-hmm.
how money works, and you learned what these banks actually do with your money, right? And so you said,
Right.
you know what, I'm going to put my money into a mutual fund. Maybe it's a Roth IRA or something else, but you're going to put your money into a mutual fund, and you're going to get 10%, or sorry,
Okay.
12%, excuse me, on your $10,000. So 72
Mm-hmm.
divided by 12, Peelin, is what? The answer is right here. I'll give you a hint.
Six.
Perfect.
6 years.
So Peeling, every 6 years, money
Mm.
doubles. Okay. Now you after 12 years have the same amount of money that Kim had in 48. And
Wow.
after 24 years, you have the same amount of money that I had, and you are quadruple where Kim is going to be in twice as long. But check this out, Peeling, you're going to keep doubling 4 more times. You're going to have $2.5 million just by putting 10 grand into a mutual fund and letting it sit for 48 years.
Yes.
Peelan, that's what we teach people. Okay. But Peelan, check this out. What do you think that the bank did with the $10,000 that Kim gave to them?
Probably invested it.
Yeah, they invested it. Guys, by the way, Peelan knows what she's talking about here, right? Most people say, well, they just like it's just safe at the bank, right? They put it in this. And what I always tell people is this. I would say something along the lines of like, well, Peelan, obviously the bank's not just going to put this money in the basement and let it collect dust for 48 years, right? They're
Mhm.
going to do something with it. So what they're going to do is they're going to put this money into a mutual fund or something that's going to actually grow, right? And Peelan, what's going to happen is this bank is going to get the same return that you could get. Okay. And what they're going to do is they're going to give Kim a $40,000 thank you check 48 years from now. and they're going to keep $2.5 million.
Wow.
So, Peelan, this is what we teach people on the investment standpoint, right? When I talked about getting out of debt and then investing their money, this is where we're going to show them where to invest their money, something like this. Okay. So,
Right.
Keelan, you would agree that that's obviously a powerful thing for somebody to understand how money works and how to invest their money, correct?
I would.
So, Peelan, we're really the only company that's teaching people what we're doing with their money when we invest it and not just putting it somewhere and not talking to them about it. We're really going to help them understand what's going on so they can build generational long-term wealth. Okay. Now,
Okay.
Peelan, last but not least, and frankly, this Peelan is where you're going to most likely make the bulk of your income in the first couple of years while you're here, while you're learning the investment business. Okay. It's on something
Hmm.
called life insurance. Peelan, have you ever heard of life insurance before?
I have
Okay, perfect. Tell me a little bit about what you know about life insurance. What's the purpose of it?
uh to pay for your funeral.
Anything else?
Um,
Give me the wrong answer, Peelan. Give me the wrong answer.
uh, 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 that's it.
Perfect. Okay, great. So, Peelan, there's three different types of life insurance. I was trying to get her to tell me whole life, by the way, guys. But Peelan, there's three different types of life insurance. Okay.
Mhm.
The first one is like what's called like a group life insurance. Basically, it's through your job. If you ever quit, you lose it, stuff like that. Okay. You might have some
Mhm.
right now. That's if you do, that's okay. And that's fine. And we can talk about that a different day. But that's one type. Okay. The next type
Right.
of life insurance is something called a cash value life insurance. Okay. This is a life insurance policy that accumulates money as you put money into it. These are called index universal life insurance, variable life insurance, cash value, whole life, return of premium, permanent whole life. There's a bunch of different names for it. But Peelan, no matter how many different shades of lipstick you put on a pig, Peelan, it's still what?
Pig.
Still a
Hmm.
pig. So no matter how many different names the insurance industry comes up for cash value life insurance, they all function almost identically. Okay. So Peelan, I'm going to give you the three major issues with cash value life insurance. Okay. So Peelan, let's pretend John and Mary are your mom and dad. Okay. John and Mary have $100,000 of life insurance on each of them. They have a total of 200,000, 100 on mom, 100 on dad, 200,000 total. Okay. Then
Okay.
you have the monthly premium. This is how much they pay the life insurance company every month. So
Hmm.
they're paying $235 a month for $100,000 of life insurance on both mom and dad. Okay. Are you following me?
I am.
Perfect. And then they, at the age of 65, assuming they start this when they're 30 or 35, yeah, 30, or no, 35. So when they start this at 35, 30 years later, Peelan, they're going to have $74,000 of cash built up in that account. Okay. That's not a bad
Mhm.
thing, right?
It's pretty good.
That's not bad at all, right? They got a little bit of extra cash. They got their life insurance. They're doing what they think is best for them. And unfortunately, what happens when they do this, there's three major problems with this, Peelan, and the insurance agents conveniently leave these out when they're selling these products, to be completely honest with you. The first thing, Peelan, is that for the first 3 to sometimes I've seen as high as 10 years, this policy accumulates exactly $0 in this cash account. Okay. So
Oh,
mom and dad are paying $235 a month. They think they're building up a cash value. Say 3 years in, they go to take out some money. There is no money there for them to take out. Okay.
okay.
Not great, right? You and I could agree that that's silly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the second problem, Peelan, is if, let's say, mom and dad are 60 and they want to buy a house and they need 40 grand for a down payment, they want to take some of the money out of their cash value. They probably got about 65,000 at that time. They want to take out 40 grand. Well, the insurance company will tell them, okay, we will give that money to you, but we can wait for up to 6 months. So they don't have to give the check for up to 6 months. So if mom and dad need that money next week, there's nothing they can do about it. The insurance company could hold that for up to 6 months. Okay. That's not even the worst part, though. The worst part is when they do get that money, they are going to have to pay that money back to the insurance company as a loan with interest. Okay. So they're going to have to pay the money back at 6 to 8% interest, and the insurance company keeps the interest payments, not mom and dad. Okay. So they're borrowing their own money. Does that make you follow me? I'm not, that's not good, but it makes sense, at least what I'm saying, right?
Right. But
So
that doesn't sound good.
no, it's not good. And again, they don't really tell people about this when they do it, right? Now,
Right.
third problem, and ultimately, in my opinion, this is the worst thing, right? Because mom and dad are setting this up so that way if something happens, Peelan, you're taken care of. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's say mom and dad are 64 years old and they pass away in a tragic car accident. Something happens and they pass. You now, P-Lin, as the beneficiary of this policy, are going to have to pick between either option A, which is the total life insurance coverage, or option B, it's going to be probably about $74,000 at that time. P-Lin, would you pick 200 grand or 74 grand?
Well, 200 grand
You'd obviously take the 200,000. Why would you take that and not the 74,000?
because it's more.
Because it's more, right? Now,
Well,
P-Lin,
I really want both of them, but
right. Now, P-Lin, where do you think the $74,000 goes? Who gets that?
do I get that too?
Well, not unless mom and dad paid even way more on this premium as an increased premium benefit. The base of these policies, you get either option A, which is the coverage, or option B, which is the cash value. Okay. So basically, mom and dad thought they were leaving you 275,000, but in reality, they're only leaving you 136,000 or 126,000 because you subtract the cash that they're leaving behind out of the benefit that they're giving you. Okay. So Peelan, this is the major problem with the insurance industry is they don't tell their clients this when they sell it. Okay.
Mm.
And they get paid on this monthly number. So they're making a lot more money on this, selling a less beneficial product to a family. Okay. Now,
Oh,
Peelan, what we teach people is a concept called buy term and invest the difference. Okay.
okay,
Every type of life insurance is at the root of it a term insurance product. And what that means is eventually it just ends at some point in time. Okay.
okay,
Now,
okay.
let's say mom and dad are, they're 35 years old when they buy this. They're buying a 30-year term policy for $250,000 on each, $500,000 total. Peelan, we can both agree that that's substantially more than the 200,000, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Now they're paying $82 a month. That's
Mm.
obviously much less than what they're paying with the other guy, right?
Yes.
So, Peelan, what I would then, if I was your parents' agent, is I would say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you're already paying $235 a month for your other life insurance. Why don't we take the 135 that you're saving and put that into an investment account that's going to be able to grow? That you would be able to access later, or you could will that down to a family member if something were to happen via like a beneficiary or something like that. And most of
Mm.
our clients say yes. Now, Peelan, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you everyone says yes, but most of them do. Okay. Now,
Okay.
so Peelan, the way that this works now is let's say same situation happens, mom and dad pass away, and they now you have the option, Peelan, of 500,000 or zero. Which would you pick?
The 500,000.
500,000. Obviously, you're not going to just say keep the death benefit. You're going to take that, right? Now,
Right.
there's $282,000 in an investment account, Peelan. Where do you think that goes?
Isn't that mine too?
Yeah, I mean, assuming you're the beneficiary of both, yes, but nonetheless, someone is going to get this money and the death benefit. So, for the same amount of money, what we're teaching regular, everyday American people, just like you and me, is how to take the exact same amount of money and, in a worst case scenario, give the family $600,000 more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Peelan, is that a good thing for us to be doing for people?
That's an awesome thing.
So this is what we do for our families or our clients. Okay. Now,
Okay.
Peelan, real quick, I just want to show you two things. So if you were a district leader, a part-time person within our business, and you did that life insurance policy, you would make $428 for about an hour or maybe two worth of work. Okay.
Okay.
If you do an average rollover, which is $50,000, so you do an investment of $50,000, you would make
Mhm.
726 bucks.
Mm.
And so if you did one life insurance client and one $50,000 investment, which by the way, a lot of people have that type of money sitting in old 401ks, and all you just got to do
Hmm.
is help them roll them over into an investment account. We'll teach you that later. Don't worry about it, but it's not super difficult to do that. Okay.
Okay.
You would make about $1,100 in doing that. Okay.
Oh,
Now, Peelan, I'm a regional vice president, which is an RVP, okay, regional vice president. I
okay.
would make on that exact same transaction, $941 on the life insurance and $1,286 on the investment. It's basically just under double the income for the exact same amount of work. Does that make
Wow.
sense?
That makes sense.
So, Peelan, let's flip the roles here for a second. Let's say that you're the regional vice president, okay? You run this whole presentation, you bring me in, you train me, you teach me, okay? Your goal is to get me to regional vice president, okay? You make royalties off of that. Guys, obviously it's not royalties, it's override, but they don't understand that yet. So I just say royalties. So Peelan, you're
Okay.
gonna make royalties on every single thing that happens within my business so long as I stay in the company. Okay?
Okay.
But check this out. As a district leader, while I'm working within your office, if I make $428 on a life insurance policy, Peelan, you're going to make $513. Okay.
Hmm.
If I make 726, you're going to make 560. So Peelan, if I go out and make a sale, the like I just talked about a second ago, you're going to make about 1,100 bucks roughly. Okay. And I'm also going to make 1,100 bucks. So it's a win-win both ways. Right? Because you're teaching me, training me, helping me learn everything that I need to know so that way I can go out and make money. And I have the same opportunity that you have to get to that regional vice president contract level. Okay. So,
Okay.
Peelan, I just want you to understand this is no different than the way that a State Farm agency works or a Geico
Hmm.
agency works, right? Because all of these different companies, they have offices, and within those offices are other agents. Okay, so the
Hmm.
guy or girl with their name on the door, they make all the override off all the agents inside. Okay, what
Okay.
we do is we teach people how to open up offices. What those companies do is they really prohibit people and they try to keep people held back from opening offices because the minute that you open up an office outside of my office, I wouldn't make any
Right.
money with off of you anymore at State Farm. But with Primerica, every time I open up an office, the company pays you stock and me stock, and we both continue to get paid at a very high level so long as you're still in the business. Primerica understands that building a business and building offices and opening up offices is the how you build longevity within a business. So, Peelan, my goal is to help you open up an office and make $2,200 every time that you help a family with the things that we just talked about. Okay.
Mm.
Peelan, my last question for you today is how soon would you like to get started on the licensing to get the ball rolling with everything?
Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday. Perfect. So I'm going to pull up my screen. We're going to fill out the application and we'll get you plugged into everything. We'll schedule your orientation for the next couple of days. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Perfect. I just re-recruited P-Lin, y'all. All right. So, guys, give it up for P-Lin for role playing with me. I appreciate you, P-Lin. Um, all right, guys. What questions y'all got? How can I help? By the way, 9 times out of 10, you do not have to go into all of that, but that's the full presentation if I were to go into all of that. Any
So what
questions?
if they tell you they want some information? They want more information.
Yeah, great. So, Peelan, I'm so glad you asked and you're asking for a little bit more information. Peelan, can I ask specifically what information are you looking for?
Well, I mean, of course you're gonna get these clients, of course, to make this money. Where are they coming from?
That's a great question, Peelan. I'm really glad you asked that. So, what we teach is a system that continues to bring clients to you over time. Okay. So every business that you can think of right now that you're like, man, McDonald's, I'm going to go to McDonald's and they don't have to call you to go to them. You're just, they exist. You're going to go there, right? I'm going to go to Starbucks. I'm going to go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to go to Kroger, Meyer, whatever, right? You go to all of these places. Why? Because at some point in time, the person that started that business had to go and talk to people about what he or she was doing to get the word out for what they're doing. And over time, they built a reputation where clients come to them. Okay, so P-Land, in the very beginning, what we do is we use what's called a hot or a warm market. Okay, so P-Land, basically what that means is we are going to show people that you know what you are doing. Now, this is not a sales presentation. All we're doing is showing them that same presentation that I just showed you. Okay, we're not allowing them to buy anything on that first appointment. We really try not to have anybody buy anything on the first appointment. Now, if they're like begging us to get something, obviously we're going to help them. But we not like most of the time, Peelan, what we do is we go through that presentation and where I told you earlier that, hey, I differentiate off from here, and this is where my presentation changes a little bit. Right there, I book a follow-up appointment. Okay. That follow-up appointment, Peelan, if the client that we meet with to show them what you're doing, if they are interested, they will book that appointment. Okay. And on that appointment, we will talk to them about becoming one of your clients and giving you referrals so that you can continue to grow your business. Okay. And Peelan, if we do a good job for them, they're going to give you referrals. And those are going to be people that now are coming to you to learn about what it is that you're doing. And then we're going to rinse and repeat that process over and over again with those referrals. So if you get, say you meet with your sister, Kim, right? And Kim gives you two referrals. Well, those two referrals we're going to try to meet with. And when we meet with those two referrals, we're going to try to get two or three referrals from those referrals. So now you have another six or seven people. So over time, Peelan, we're going to build you a business that has people coming to you. But in the very
Right.
beginning, Peelan, because we don't do any marketing, that's why our compensation is so high. What we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to show people what you're doing to then get referrals on the back end so you can continue to make money. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Perfect. So, Peelan, let's get you plugged in. Does that sound good?
Okay. Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely not. Yes, you can. I'm just kidding. What's up?
So tell me, what is to get started, what exactly do I have to do first?
So, are you asking me that right now as like for training, or are you giving me a potential objection?
A potential objection.
So, I would have already handled that in the five questions the
So the 124 would have been handled a while ago.
on the qualifying questions. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I can't ask how you would have handled that.
I mean, yeah, you can, but I've already handled that in
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
qualifying
PLN. So
questions.
we're so you know, PLN. We're doing
Hmm.
we're doing a progression of this training with the team. So
Hmm.
we
Oh,
did
okay.
form, and then the next week we did the qualifying
That's
questions.
right. You weren't on us. Okay,
That's
my
what Dan
bad.
is saying.
Okay.
And then the night we
Gotcha.
went to the presentation. Yeah.
All righty then. Well, thank you, Dan.
Yes, of course. Any other questions, guys? The only dumb question is the one that you have and you don't ask. Taylor asked how I got so good at it. I did it a lot. I literally drove. I was like all day. I was like, maybe I should like run through this once because I haven't done a ton of and then I literally was like, no, I don't need to do that. Like I got this down. uh, I mean, guys, I've probably run. If I were to guess, I'd probably run at least 2,000 of those presentations. I mean, minimum. Like, because when I was brand new, I was running probably like running, not setting, running 8 to 10 of those every day for 6 months straight. With the exception of like Sundays, I ran like four.
Wow, it's amazing.
But there's no secret. That's not there's the only secret here is hard work, guys.
Yeah.
Like that was probably a nugget in training in and of itself, what I just said. Like I did so much of this. I got so good at it. Like that's why Jerome, like when people are like, "Oh, you can't recruit people over the phone," I'm like, "Yes, you can. If you know the presentation good enough, you don't need a piece of paper. You just talk through it." I literally could have done that entire. I could go through that entire thing right now with my eyes closed and not like close everything on my laptop and not look at a thing. I could do the exact same thing I just did. I don't need the page. The page is for her to see. What else? Any other questions, guys? Dan Burke, any snotty comments you like to give me tonight? I'm just kidding. Any hateful critiques? I'm just kidding. Keep your nasty comments to yourself, Dan. Um, my computer worked just fine, by the way, in case you were wondering. All right. Well, hey, if no one's got anything, Jerome will give his recruit presentation next week. It's different, but you're gonna see the same basic stuff is hit. It's just a slightly different style of presenting. I learned from Andy, and it's I mean, frankly, it's really good. Like I handle everything. It's a little bit more probably salesy than Jerome's is, to be honest with you, but that's fine. Just different styles. Oh, what's up, Jalita? How you doing? Everybody say what's up to Julita in the Zoom chat. She's new. She's back. She's back. Excited for you. Excited for you, Julita. You're gonna crush it here. I'm proud of you for being on. All right. Who is Zoom Bay? Who's that?
That's
Whatever.
Maria. That's Maria.
Maria, what's up, Maria?
She can't turn her camera on, she said.
All good.
She liked
David
that.
Pepper. David Pepper briefly unmuted himself. Do you have a question, David?
No.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Any other anything else? Otherwise, I'm gonna go and read my book. Not a Primerica book today. It's not a Primerica book this time. So